let me get your class title here. Make sure you got your pens, paper, notes, books out. We ain't got no women here today due to unforeseen circumstances. They here with us in spirit. They'll see the video.
Hey, Cat, I think that's of the Lord, though.
Hey, I think so. Hey, all things are of the Lord.
That's
all
right.
Things are of the Lord.
For real. Damn.
All things of the Lord. Hey, he confirmed that. Ain't no all things of the Lord. The steps of a man are ordered by the Lord. So today's class is going to be called Fathers, Daddies, and Deadbeats, and the Sons They Raise.
Damn.
Fathers, Daddies, and Deadbeats, and the Sons They Raise. So, before I get into asking some of these questions here,
real quick, before you start,
go ahead.
Just real quick, brothers. If the class cuts you, examine yourself and just change. Cause that's what it's meant to do. All right?
It will.
Oh, you best believe it.
I'm going to prove it to you. All of those young men that are in here today that are in the Young Prophets program, stand up. Stand up if you're here right now. If you're in the Young Prophets program right there. Okay, so y'all see them. Take a good look at them. No, we don't want to get them on camera. We'll leave them off camera. Okay, so, through the spirit of, and this is, you talking about, this is of the Lord? Oh, yeah, it's definitely of the Lord because, the Lord put on our spirit to formulate this program for the kids for a reason, right? And things been revealed through the spirit, as you know, we in the part of summer boot camp for a lot of these boys. And, been revealed. A lot of you all are slacking. Some of y'all are fathers, some of y'all are daddies, and some of y'all are deadbeats. And they the proof of it. And we know. Because it's almost like we spend more time with them than you do. So let me think. So write this down. Let's write this down. Fathers. Okay, so fathers, this is what they do. Fathers build mentally strong and confident boys by guiding, talking to, and leading them through their toughest years of life until they become men that are able to handle those situations, and I'll go back and read it again, on their own, while being affectionate enough to show them what love is supposed to look like. So I'm going to read it again. Fathers build mentally strong and confident boys by guiding, talking to, and leading them through their toughest years of life until they become men that are able to handle those tough situations on their own, while being affectionate enough to show them what love is supposed to look like. Who needs me to repeat it again? It's on the screen.
Blow it up some more.
Yeah, it's in the group. All praises. So, fathers build mentally strong and confident boys by guiding, talking to, and leading them through their toughest years of life until they become men that are able to handle those tough situations on their own, while being affectionate enough to show them what love is supposed to look like. That's
hey, can I say something on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Brothers, with that being said, what is the key word? No, put it back. Put it back. What is the key words in that statement? There's some key points in there that we're going to go over. Right here. Lemuel?
Shalom, leadership. Happy Sabbath. I would say building mentally and guiding.
All right. So guiding is one of them. That's something as fathers we kind of lack, guidance. What's the next word? Naeem.
Affectionate.
Affectionate, yes. We have yet to learn as men how to show sons how to be affectionate. What's the other word? There's one more there. Give me all of that, Isaac. Come on, quickly.
Their toughest.
Say it again.
Their toughest.
That's toughest.
Toughness? No, not toughness. They already know. We already pound that into them. Michael.
Confident.
Confidence. Is that word up there? Yeah, confidence.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it's talking. Talking. Communication. What is the biggest problem in your marriage, in the body, with dealing with brothers? What is it? Lack of communication.
Yep. Okay, so that's daddies. Take a picture of it. We're going to put them up on there. I mean, that's fathers. So what is a daddy? Daddies. Daddies, put that up there for them. Put daddies up there for them. I want them to see what daddies are, because it's a difference. Daddies are only present when there is a problem and occasionally show attributes of a father, but not consistently enough to make anyone believe that he is one. They also provide the necessities of life, but not much more to their sons. They are just there. So this ain't a daddy is not somebody that is outside of the house. This is somebody that lives in the house. They are only present when there is a problem and occasionally show attributes of a father, but not consistently enough to make anyone believe that he is one. They also provide the necessities of life, but not much more to their sons. They are just there. They administer whoopings, and they put food and a roof over your head, fix broken toys, and anything in between that to build that son into a man. You non-existent. You just there. Okay. We'll leave it up there for you just for a second. So, what category do you fall in? Are you a father? Are you a daddy? You don't read about daddies in the Bible. I know your kid might call you that because that's what you told him to call you, and it's easy for him to say, the tongue hitting the roof of the mouth, the da 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 da. Okay, we understand that. But I'm talking about the attributes of who you truly are. Are you a father? Are you a daddy? Right? Okay. Our brothers right there slow? Good, goodness gracious. Okay, we'll post it later. I ain't got time for y'all to wait for y'all. All right, pull up the last one, deadbeats. You got fathers, you got daddies, and you got deadbeats. Here are deadbeats. Deadbeats only show up on special occasions and pay child support. They know nothing about their kids and don't care to know because they care more about themselves than the life they created. They occasionally show attributes of a daddy by providing the necessities of life when practically begged to do it. That's a deadbeat. I'm going to read it again. Deadbeats only show up on special occasions and pay child support. Special occasions, high school graduation.
When you want a nut.
Yeah, class. Hell no, they don't show up to class pictures. Nah, that's a father. They pay for it. They pay for a tuxedo for prom, that type stuff. What else? If you're in the world, it might be a birthday. You show up every 7 to 10 years birthdays. You show up. Although that's wicked as hell. But see, they only show up on special occasions, pay child support. They know nothing about their kids. They don't know what food they like. They don't know their favorite color. They don't know what problems they dealing with. They don't care to know because they care more about themselves than the life they created. They occasionally show attributes of a daddy by providing the necessities of life. Whenever he needs some new shoes to go back to school, a little bit of money for some school clothes, you give it to him. But that's only when you are practically begged to do it. When a woman has to say, this is your son, won't you do something for him? All right, here, damn, here's $40. Take it. That's fathers, daddies, and deadbeats, right? Go ahead.
So deadbeat basically is a father that's trying to keep his head above water so he don't sink into loser town. Basically, he's already a loser now, but just because he's paying that child support or paying the simple necessities of that child, he's trying to keep his head above water for not sinking into Loserville, basically.
Yeah, Officer Zacchaeus.
Yeah, so real quick,
Microphone.
of course. So, in the movie, when they see us, the father of the youngest one, will he be an example of
The youngest one. I don't know which one was the youngest one.
Okay, the one I forgot his name, but he was working all the time, and at the end, he walked away from the family.
Oh, that dude. Now we don't know because we don't know what type of father he was before that. And remember, when it comes on, it just shows him and the son having a good relationship. Son wake up in the morning, go eat breakfast. He's sitting at the table with him. They talking about sports. It don't really give a life detail of what was happening before that.
Okay, well,
so we don't know.
During that time, will he be a deadbeat or?
Yeah, he's a deadbeat.
Okay.
Obviously, he wasn't there. That's a deadbeat. Okay, so let's play that first video. 'Cause we got a bunch. These videos is basically going to teach the class. Before we put a video, go to the book of Sirach, chapter 11, verse 28. And some of you all in here, your sons have revealed what type of man you are. You ain't got to tell us. We already know what you are. We doing this class to hoping you fine tune yourself and get out of the category that you in. Read Sirach 11 and 28.
The book of Sirach, chapter 11 and verse 28. Judge none blessed before his death, for a man shall be known in his children.
A man shall be known in his children. What is God saying? God's telling you that your son is a reflection of you. Whatever you are instilling in him as an adolescent is what he's going to remember and grow into as a man. Now, he might deviate some from the path. He go his own way. You know, he's going to be certain things he might like, you might not like. He grew up in a different era than you. You was born in the late 60s, early 70s. He's born in the 90s. It's just certain things that he's going to like that you ain't going to like. He's going to understand, you ain't going to understand. But the essence of who he is as a man is going to be known by you, what you instill in him. So read that again. 11 and 28.
Sirach chapter 11 and verse 28. Judge none blessed before his death, for a man shall be known in his children.
So what type of man you are, it will be seen in your children. If there's no discipline in the house, we're going to be able to see it instantly by your kids. If you are not talking to your son, it's going to be shown instantly in your kids. Your kid don't have any confidence, meaning that he's not around you enough, it's going to be shown instantly in your kids. If you're a deadbeat and you're non-existent, it is instantly shown in your kids. Instantly. And we can pick it up. All we got to do is talk to them. And that's what we've been doing. And some of you are slacking. Go to Sirach 3 and 11.
Sirach chapter 3 and verse 11. For the glory of a man is from the honor of his father.
The glory of a man is from the honor of his father. So, a lot of times, just thinking of in wickedness when we was in the world, a son that might be in sports, like for instance, how proud do you think the boy named they call him Bronny James? That's LeBron James' son. How proud you think he is whenever they say, "Oh, that's LeBron James' son"? He don't. When they say, "Oh, that's LeBron James' son," LeBron James his daddy. He don't do this. Oh man, damn! Talking about my daddy again. They don't do that. Whenever they mention, "Oh, that's LeBron James' son," he's like, "Yeah, that's my daddy."
Yeah, his step is different.
Yeah. Officer
Confident,
like him.
upbeat.
Shalom leadership. That's just what I feel to just ask, man. What if we come to the truth? You know, I see my son on Facebook, you know, he's smoking weed, and, you know, I give him the scriptures, but they block me.
Yeah.
They block me from himself.
Well, you doing what you supposed to do. You doing what you can in that situation. We talking about some of these that are in the house with them,
Okay.
and they fall into these categories.
Yes, sir.
Now your son is might be old enough to make his own decisions. Okay, there's nothing you can do about that. Some of us got kids that are 7, 8, 9 years old.
Some of us come home to our kids and don't say a word to them.
Yeah, and the kid goes into the room.
Into the room, daddy go in the room, close the door, don't say nothing. Some of us come home and we only talk when we want a nut.
Yep.
Don't even know. I don't know what's going on with our kids' lives from day to day.
Some of you all brothers in here have been married into and are going to be married into a family with a son already, and he don't even have your number to call you. Y'all hear I said he don't have your number to even speak to you.
So that means
But you about to marry his mama.
right?
Yeah, you got his mom.
Right. What they're saying is that you don't even see him as being a part of your family that you about to join into.
You're just marrying the mother for her, but you ain't really focused on building up the son that's already there. He's just a byproduct of what he's baggage. He's just a byproduct of what you're going into. And he's going to have to suffer through it because you're not going to show him nothing that he needs to become a man at all.
You know what's crazy about that, captains? The young men identify themselves as baggage.
Mm-hmm. When we talk to him, yep. Don't even know that, some of these kids that, you are the stepfather and they got real fathers, and you being a stepfather, you can try your best to fill those shoes, but every son has a special place for the man that actually created him. And when there's a rift between them two that actually created him, they carry around pain that they ain't gonna tell you. And with you not being a father to them, you don't even know. They grow up in the house with you, and you never know they carrying this pain. They hurting, but you didn't care to ask because you didn't care in the first place. You was only there for the mama that just happened to have a son. But back to the other point about young kids. Some of y'all got young kids in here that ain't the age of Officer Eliakim's kids. They are 8, 9, 10 years old. You don't even talk to them for real. You only talk to them when the mama need money and you go over there to give the money, and then they happen to be there too, and they see you, daddy, oh. Then you back out. You don't know what's going on with them during the week at all, unless the mama tell you something's going wrong. That's the only time you know. Read that again, verse 11.
For the glory of a man is from the honor of his father.
Every son wants to be able to say, yeah, that's my daddy. That's my father, not my daddy. That's my father right there. Right? Read on.
And a mother in dishonor is a reproach to the children.
No son wants to grow up with a crackhead mama, with a stripper mama, right? That's why you see these a lot of times these women that be in strip clubs doing the stripping, they're always doing it when their kid is at a young age, when they don't quite understand, because they know it's a disgrace. Unless they just straight out ratchet, I'm 38. I still look 25, but I'm gonna stay stripping, and I got a 16-year-old daughter. They're just straight ratchet. But you don't see that. You don't see old head strippers in there when they got a daughter or son of age, because they know their son, daughter know that they a stripper is a reproach to them. They don't want to be that in the eyes of their sons or daughters. Read verse 10.
Glory not in the dishonor of thy father, for thy father's dishonor is no glory unto thee.
So no son, when you are a deadbeat daddy, ain't no glory in that from your son at all. He can't go around and say, yeah, I was raised by both parents.
Right. He disclaims his father.
Yep.
He disclaims him.
Yep. Even if you are in the house, if you are not a father to him, you just say, yeah, man, my daddy was just there. He didn't really teach me nothing. I learned how to be a man on the streets.
Now watch this. How many of us grew up like that?
Show of hands.
How many of us grew up like that?
I'm glad you did a statistic. I forgot about that.
Well, we can say my dad ain't never hugged me. I ain't never heard my daddy say he loved me. Not a day in my life. Who can say that? A lot of us can. A lot of us can say that. That goes right back into what we was bringing out last week. Hurt people hurt people.
Yep.
We hurt. So what we doing? We just resembling the same attributes of the father that we never had.
Yep. The only difference now is that you bound by the law to your wife, so you stuck in the house. You can't run, but you still don't know how to be a father to your son. So they grow up the same damn way you was. The only difference is they can say, yeah, my father was there, but he didn't teach me nothing. He didn't talk to me. He was just there. He'd go into his room when he got off work, sleep all the time, take naps. He ever take you anywhere? This one time, 2 times. But a lot of the times, we was at the school and it was the captains and the leadership that was with us all the time, from what I remember. So be some of y'all legacy when y'all kids grow up. Naeem.
Let's just say, like, it's the baby mother, like, you know what I'm saying, the mother of your child that's blocking stuff and causing the rift and making it think that
you've been given the wisdom of God. The scriptures say, be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. You got the words to that you can speak to change, and you got God on your side. You pray to change the mind, because God is the God of all spirits. You pray, you fast, and you ask for that situation to be changed, and he'll give you the words that's needed to make your enemies be at peace with you, so that you can be a father to your son. But some of us, you get that rejection off top, you don't even try. You just let it be, and you wait till they grow older, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna get him when he's 16. By that time, it's too late. And we're gonna pull it out.
And the crazy thing is, brothers they'll fight, they'll pray to get the peace, but not to build a relationship with their child. Instead, not to get hit with child support. You see that? They'll pray for peace. Please, Lord, I pray for peace, not to build a relationship with their child, but only to get a relief from the child support part. They'll get it. Once they get it, all right, I'm good. Back to square one. Not to restore the relationship with that child. They'll go back to square one. I see you when I see you. But as long as I don't have to report to Esau to get hit in the pockets, then it's a problem. My blood pressure will go up then. I'm telling you, be mindful.
Hey, let's play that first video.
Let's start with a father's role in his son's life. What is that role?
Protector, provider, and to be a model, a demonstration of what it is to be a man, and how a man needs to be, how a man shows up, not just what a man does, but also how a man provides, how he protects for the women. I mean, it's like looking at yourself in the mirror. You get to see your role played out, and that's so important for young boys.
Okay, is this resonating with you all? Yeah. Father of sons is a crisis in our country, particularly in the African American community. It is an epidemic. It is an epidemic. And what we just saw when we opened the show, The statistics of men in prison is directly related to fatherless homes. We invited Roland Warren to be here tonight. He's the former president and executive board member of the National Fatherhood Initiative. Shed some light on what we're saying here. Actually, as I was preparing for the show, there was a statement that you made that really struck me.
Right.
And I've
Listen to
called
this.
every fatherless man I know, where you said there's a hole in the soul.
Yes, yes. I'm fond of saying, kids have a hole in their soul in the shape of their dad. And if a father is unable or unwilling to fill that hole,
Pause
it
it
can
real
leave
quick.
a wound that's not easily healed.
That's a heavy
Does that
point
resonate
that he
with
made.
you?
He said it's a hole in the soul of every man that's the shape of their father. Now that's so true. Some of you all didn't grow up with your fathers, don't know where he is, don't know him. But you can get 25, 30 years old. His daddy was a deadbeat, whatever he might be. And somebody will ask you, hey, do you love your father? You're like, yeah, I love him. You don't know nothing about him. He wasn't there for you. He didn't teach you nothing. But it's just something that from a son to a father that ties that love to him. Because this is the man that gave you life. This is who you want to aspire to be like. So when the role of a father is not fulfilled, there's a hole in that young man's soul all his life. And it can go a bunch of different ways, to the point where he can despise you and don't want nothing to do with you, or he can be one of those ones that every time your name is mentioned, he starts to get angry and frustrated. All of that stuff comes because it's a hole in that boy's soul that wasn't fulfilled. Let it play.
That hole, it can leave a wound that's not easily healed.
Did that resonate with you? Kids have a hole in their soul that's
Yeah.
the shape of their dad. Yeah.
Particularly the male children.
The male children.
Right.
And one of the reasons I'm excited about what you're doing here, what both of you are doing here, is that you're turning the lights on about this issue, because there are consequences to father absence. I mean, that transcend the data and the statistics. And one of the things to remember is behind all those statistics is an individual. It's a little boy, a little girl who's trying to understand. And it's difficult to be what you don't see.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to become what you didn't have.
Yes. I think the thing that's so interesting,
pause it,
and
pause
people are
it.
going to get this.
And it said where it says it's difficult to become the things you didn't have. That's why a lot of you all in here, you're learning how to be man. You're learning how to be man with kids, because you was a son without a father. So you have kids now, and you don't really know how to train them up. Go to Proverbs 22:6. Because he said a key point in there. He said that is a son without a father, it does things that transcend statistics. Proverbs 22:6.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
So now that when you're training up a child, it's going to take interaction, like we talked about earlier. It's going to take communication. Some of you all don't communicate with your sons at all. You think they learning what not to do and what to do. They really not. When you talk to them, they don't know what the hell it means to be a man. They don't even know what it means to be a boy. You ain't talking to them. You just it's really just like, it's all good. It's fun and games. Like, we're gonna play basketball, or hey, let's sit down. Let's read the scriptures. But you ain't talking to your sons about life. And what's gonna happen is, when that life lesson comes and meets them in the face, they're going to approach it the best way that they know how at that time, depending on whatever age they might be. Like Nariah, how old are you, Nariah? He's 18 years old. How old are you, Benjamin? He's 12. They're going to approach a situation different based on the mental stability that they have. And if the 12-year-old ain't being trained up in how to handle that certain situation of life, because you ain't talking to him, you ride in the car, it's quiet. What'd you do at school today? Oh, nothing. Well, okay. Then you sit there and you turn on You turn on some Israelite music and you get back to riding. You're just cruising. Hardly any words spoken between the both of you. Then you don't talk to him when you get out the car. All right, come on, we here. Oh, there you go. But you ain't training them up. Training them up is going to take communication. Daily talking to them so they don't have to fend for themselves through this life. Zadok, go ahead real quick.
I experienced this in my life when that line of open communication isn't there. When the child actually goes through something meaningful in their life, they're not going to come to their father.
Nope.
They won't ever come to their father to
you know who they go to? They go to mama. Go ahead, Ken.
And who else? Just like what officer just brought out. I didn't have it growing up as well. Who did I go to? Family Matters. How did TV solve
Cosby.
that? Bill Cosby. I went ahead and used television to try to solve those life situations. And that's what these kids going to go to. They're going to turn on Nickelodeon, they're going to turn on the television, and they're going to get that.
Hey, and the thing about that is, it's different now from when we was growing up.
Yes, it's worse.
You know, we had, what's that, Different World and Cosby's and Family Matters and things like that, where we could see actual family. Now, if they go to the TV, they're going to see Bob and Ted in a relationship with two daughters and a son that's effeminate. And that's how they're going to view life, through that lens. And you wonder why they grow up and you have to say, well, I don't know about him. I don't know about my son. Go ahead, Kat.
One thing one of the young men said was that the only time he gets talked to is about a scripture. The only time. The only time him and his dad talk is when he has a question about a scripture. That's it. Y'all know with these little kids, it is deeper than just scriptures, right? These little kids don't understand what we know. We got to be able to break it down on their level.
Now, the thing is about that when it comes to that scripture, the only reason that they are presenting a scripture to you as a father is so they can do what, brothers?
They can talk.
That's all. They just want to talk to daddy, and they know daddy's in the Bible. So let me
just open the Bible and say, "Oh, daddy, what does this mean?" Knowing he didn't read it, but just so that he can get some conversation. It's deeper than just scriptures, y'all. It's a lot deeper than that.
And the same thing that goes with you brothers and that are proven sisters. See, we hear stuff from these sisters like, it's just Bible, 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 Bible. That's all it is all the time, and that's how we talk is Bible. And I have to tell some of these brothers, man, just have a normal ass conversation. The same thing with your sons. Have a conversation. If you don't know how to start a conversation with your son, you shouldn't have had him in the first place.
That's a problem.
You wasn't ready to be a father. You was ready for sex, but not fatherhood. Go ahead, officer. Abaddon. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thought you had said. Okay, let's finish out that video.
See. Yeah. And it's difficult to become what you didn't have.
Yes. I think the thing that's so interesting, and you all are going to get this in tonight's life class, is the consequences of that whole.
Yes.
The consequences. You watched it.
With my brother, I watched it. And the thing is, like girls, women, we'll talk about certain things. But guys don't even have the language to say, I feel void, empty, inadequate, less than because I didn't have a father.
Are you all shaking your heads?
Stop. Now, let me ask y'all something. Who said it? Who just said it? Say it on the mic, brother. Luke. Officer Luke up here. Say it on the mic. Say it on the mic. Explain to everybody why you just said that.
Because, what's that? What did you say? I said that we don't do it because it makes us look weak. So a lot of times we grow up where if we do express ourselves, oh man, you soft, you look effeminate, man, damn, you acting like a girl. So it's like if you got a brother that's going through something, you don't even help him through it. You like, damn, bro, come on, man, you weak right now, bro. Don't be crying about that.
Right. Or the brother don't even feel strong enough to even tell you what he going through. Who faces that? Who deals with that in there? Hell, I deal with that. I know it's more than that. Go ahead, Officer Abaddon.
Hey, real quick. That's real heavy what they're bringing out because that's one of the biggest problems with the young men. the young men have a lot of deep issues going on with them. And the message they brought forth is, if I do say anything to my dad, it comes across as if I am weak.
Yeah.
But I'm not understanding that father is supposed to be that son's strength.
Right.
That father is supposed to be that son's strength. So listen, just like how the Lord is our strength, you are the strength for your son when he's weak. Because he doesn't know, as a young man, he doesn't know how to handle that, how to articulate it to us as grown men, because society has already given them the stigma of, if you show any type of emotion, you're a sissy, you're soft.
And that right there is why we in the predicament we in today. Because if they can't go to the fathers who ain't there, they going straight to their mama. And the mama gonna teach you, okay, you want to be emotional? All right. How we perceive a woman's emotions is kill, fight, murder. That's how we perceive women's emotions. We're not built like that. But what Officer Ebenezer is saying is, we got to be able to communicate what's going on with our children.
And the things about it said they don't have the community. A lot of y'all don't know nothing about your sons or what's going on with them, is because we ain't wired to be emotional to describe every detail what's going on with us. So a lot of stuff going on with your sons that y'all don't even know about because they ain't said nothing to you about it. They just don't know how to say it. And when you don't talk already enough, so they really don't want to talk to you. And when they do talk to you, it's always a scorn when they say something to you. So these kids over here is hurting on the inside. Y'all don't even know it. Because ain't no communication going on between y'all. Crying, missing their mother, don't understand what's going on, why their real father don't text them, don't talk to them, don't know how to handle the problems going on in the school they in. All kind of stuff going on with these kids. Feel like they neglected, that they was a mistake. What's the stuff we hear? Lemuel, hold on. Lemuel hit his hand up first.
Real quick, family. It happened to me almost probably like 4 years ago. I was 21, and my cousin, we used to get into a lot of wickedness together, but he was very violent growing up since he was like 14. He was like, yeah, bro, I got molested. I'm like, you got molested? Like, yeah, I got molested, bro. I think I was always so mad. You the only person I ever told. But looking at hindsight, like, we don't know what they going through. Nothing. He never say nothing.
Yeah.
And then even the other child they may tell that to, they not prepared to give you counsel on it anyway.
Nah, they don't know how to handle that. They don't know how to handle that. Let's go to the back. Joshua hit his hand. Then we'll go to Will Cadet.
Going along with what you were saying about emotion, a lot of the brothers were saying that their fathers was not in the picture, but my father, he was. But because he himself was raised by his mother and he was raised by his grandmother, he still didn't know exactly how to teach me
how to be a man.
Because what he would say is that his father was no good, always drunk, always gambling. But he said his grandmother always told me, appreciate the woman, appreciate the woman. When every time it would come up about man, it's always negativity.
Yeah.
And even though he would try to rely on Christianity to try to teach me how to be a man.
And that's the worst.
There was always a disconnect, and a lot of the conversations he was have, like a lot of brothers would say that they would try to have the sex talk in the world with their kids. For that, conversations like that for him were super, super awkward because I guess that's something he never got, so he never knew how to pass that on to me. So by the time he did try to teach me, it's
too late.
Already too late.
That's what I'm saying. Some of y'all in here are relearning how to be man all over. And give it a will, and we see it in the councils, and we understand, we know where it's coming from.
Shalom. To continue what you were saying, we have myself. I grew up in a family where my father there all my life, but
and you Levi, right?
Yes, sir.
I know about you Levites. I know, and this is why we going over this stuff too, because you Levites, you be there, but you are basically you just daddies in the house.
Right.
Borderline deadbeats.
Going to work all the time, no time for your kids. Usually we go playing games with our friends. That's what we do. Yep. After school, we go play
And daddy was
football
just the enforcer. He just
Exactly.
whooped you when you got in trouble.
And when kids has problem, all their family beat them up. That's how it is.
Yeah, that's Levi. Yeah. I understand. I know how Levi get down. I've been told. We gotta get through this video. Let's go back some on this video. We got a bunch of videos. That was just the first video. Go back on it a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Let's let it play.
To say, I feel void, empty, inadequate, less than because I didn't have a father.
Are you all
Because, of
shaking your heads
course,
because this
you're
is
not
true?
supposed to say those
Yeah.
kinds of things.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So let's go to the next video. Go to the next video. So this is for some of you fathers to be, some of you that are fathers, some of you that are in the house with a bunch of women and a bunch of kids, and you just sleep and go to work and have sex. Let's play that.
Experiment. ABC's Deb Roberts sat down with a group of boys for a very candid conversation. What they didn't know, their fathers were watching behind the glass. Good morning, Deb.
Good morning, Robin. We got a little sneaky with this reporting because we wanted to shine a light on a couple of things. First, the achingly stressful and difficult things that kids are facing today, and just how tough it is for their parents to truly know their ever-changing kids and how they're coping. To be a teen boy today is what?
Confusing, frustrating.
We're entering the dizzying world of adolescence in our experiment Behind the Glass at Focus Plus New York. High school boys telling it like it is.
They'll be sitting in this room, hopefully revealing some of their deepest details about their private lives, with no idea that on the other side of that glass, their fathers are watching.
When we turn off the lights, they can't be seen.
What stresses you out?
There's a lot of pressure on being a teenage boy. Guys go through a couple of things not many people talk about.
Give me an idea.
Girls can like sleep over other girls' houses and stuff, but like when you say that you're going to sleep over a guy's house, then everybody's like, oh really, so what are you gonna do there? And it's like, we're just hanging out, we're friends.
So society doesn't want guys to be like connected and close emotionally.
Yeah.
People just like, they just don't think it's like acceptable.
In fact, as old-fashioned as it may sound, experts say we're still socializing adolescent boys to keep their emotions in check.
Any of you go to parties?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Weed, alcohol, pressure?
Yes. Yeah, you're pressured. Like, kids are definitely like drinking, smoking, like doing pills at parties and stuff.
I remember my friend was like, we were freshmen. He was like, oh yeah, come smoke weed with me at the park. And I was like, nah, man.
Like sometimes I used to do that stuff, but then it's kind of like I stopped because I understand like it's not good for me specifically.
Is there pressure to reach out to girls or girls reach out to
I
you?
always feel that pressure to maybe ask that girl out or just talk to her in general.
It takes
All right,
real courage and real
pause real
bravery to
quick.
walk up.
Now they're just listing off a few carnal stuff that they deal with, but think about your sons that go to public school, and we speak to them and they rattle on, they tell me stuff that I would never think when I was growing up it would ever be possible that I would have to discuss that. When we were growing up, we chased girls. Now girls chase them. Girls have the condoms. Girls have all the different positions, and they
13-year-old girls know how to go down on the boys already.
Yep, they're bringing it to them in details, enticing them. These are the things that you have to prepare your sons for. There are all different kinds of drugs that are in school. If you're not having that one-on-one communication with your children, you don't know the pressures that they go through in their daily life. Sometimes they're forgotten. You think that you're the only one that is, going through some orchestration of curses that is upon you, not understanding that they're being dragged along with the same pressures, even more, because at that age, they have no answer, no guidance on how to deliver themselves out of it.
Yeah, I just want to. Damn, it just made me forget what I was saying. Good.
I also want to say this, that those pressures that they are going through, a lot of times, some of them might have uncles they talk to. If they didn't want to talk to you, they had uncles, they talk to. You did. You had uncles and stuff you could talk to if you didn't have a father, right? For those situations that was coming up. Now, just think about this. These kids are in the truth, so they are, a lot of them are shielded from their wicked family members. So they're going to go through these life lessons, and they're going to have to handle those. Like, how does a 12-year-old boy, what does a 12, 13-year-old boy do when the freak in the school is saying, meet me in the bathroom after school before basketball practice? Meet me in the gym back there behind that. What does he do? If you ain't talking to him, you ain't never talked to him about that type of stuff. You just say, hey, don't mess with no girls. Okay. She rub on his stuff, and he finds out his stuff works.
And Cap, you're saying it nice. These girls are aggressive. They are like, listen, I'm gonna get that dude.
And you ain't talk to him how to maneuver in that situation, how to get out of that situation, how to handle himself. You do it after the fact. It's gonna be, he might have already committed the act, and then now you got to play rebound to tell him what to do next time. But once that seed of sin has been sown, and he got that, all of you know, when you got that first one,
that's it.
It was over. It wasn't nothing nobody could tell you. You was going to get it no matter what mama or daddy said.
Super Saiyan.
All of that. But these kids are in an age now to where kids are having sex at 11, 12 years old. Some, it might be even earlier than that because of the abusive childhood that they've had or they've seen. And then they pass that sin on from your child to from them to your child. And now you got to deal with, you got a 13-year-old promiscuous boy in the house because you ain't never talked to him through the situation. And it's a lot of confusion going on nowadays. Go ahead, Cap.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you'd be a fool to think that your child ain't being pressured sexually. You'd be a fool. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. You are a fool to think that your child, your good old 12-year-old breast milk smelling son, ain't being pressured. And as men, one thing I want to add to that list, as fathers, we are built to take on the affairs of this world. Meaning we are designed to combat that. These kids ain't designed for that yet. They're not built for that yet. So that's why when a problem approaches them, they freeze. And either they're gonna go the way that they've always been taught to go, like train a child up in the way he should go, or they're gonna go the way of the world. They're gonna ask a drug dealer Joe for advice. That's what I did. I asked the biggest whoremonger I knew for advice. Hey, right.
Cool kids in the school, you asking them for advice. How you talk to the girls.
That's what's gonna happen.
How you put that thing on. Where should I go? What should I do? And then the nigga in the school is gonna tell them, oh man, I'll hook you up. I'll put you on. I'll set you up. Go ahead, Kat.
I got a scripture. Proverbs 7, start at verse 1. We're going to read about a father instructing his son. Okay, to stay away from that type of woman.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 7 and verse 1. My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live.
And do what?
And live.
Read.
And my law as the apple of thine eye.
Jump down to verse 5.
Verse 5. That they may keep thee from the strange woman.
Read.
From the stranger which flattereth with her words.
Right, come on.
For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and beheld among the simple ones. I discerned among the youths a young man, void of understanding.
You see that? Void of understanding. That's the instruction of a father. You don't want to be. That's the instruction that you give to your son. Right? Not to avoid, what to avoid, and the person who is found in that act, that sinful act, and falling for the strange woman, guess what? You are void of understanding. Read on.
Passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house. in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night.
Come on.
And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn.
What makes this so heavy is right here we read how it goes in detail describing that type of woman. It says flattering, right? Using flattering words to entice you to go ahead and fall for her tricks, right? And it also goes into the apparel that she wears, what to avoid. All right, that's it.
Hey, that's heavy because he's given different, like you said, Cap. He's given different situations in one story, and how to avoid those situations. He ain't just saying, "Boy, for whoever trying to come against you, tell her no." He's giving him different scenarios in one big scenario, and the conclusion is read verse 27.
Verse 27. Her house is the way to hell.
Now listen, from verse 7 to verse 26, all of these are different scenarios from this one huge what's the word I'm looking for? Story or detailed scenario. Read verse 27.
Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death.
That's the conclusion of all the details he just gave his son of what to avoid, what to look out for, what to listen for, what to look for.
Hey, with that being said, let's see who's picking up what we.
All praise God. I was going to ask that question.
Okay.
Who?
How would Solomon know to even put that in that book? Let's see who's thinking. Duell. How would he even know about that?
Because probably the same problems we're having back then just as now.
Nope, you missed it. You ain't got no kids, that's why. Matthias, let's see what you got.
Because Solomon had a lot of concubines, he dealt with a lot of women.
You missed it too. Let's see what Will Cadet in the back. He got his hand up. Let's see.
His father David taught him.
There you go. David was communicating with Solomon on how to avoid. Did Solomon listen to that stuff? We see he didn't. But he ain't got no excuse that my daddy didn't teach me. And we know he taught it because he wrote it down in the book of, my father gave me some wisdom communicating with me, so let me pass this wisdom on to the sons that will come after. How to avoid those situations. And it's in detail what my father told me. David wasn't just in the house being king, sitting on the throne and doing nothing. Oh, he needs some food. Servants, get him some food. He got a roof over his head. That's okay. Solomon learned how to throw a javelin. Okay, I'll show up to the serenade, the promotion of it. No, he wasn't doing that. Solomon was sitting with his father David, and he was having detailed discussions on how to do this, how not to do that. Be just in this manner. Don't falsify the balances in this. And what happened when God began to speak to Solomon, like we read when God said he visited Solomon 2 times, Solomon said, give me wisdom. And what David had instilled in him as a son, God heightened it to the next level, to where Solomon became the wisest man to ever walk the earth besides Christ. Go ahead, officer.
Yeah, give me Proverbs 1, verse 1 real quick, because who here? Let me see who raised their hand. Fathers with sons. Fathers with sons. Jabez. How would you deliver that to your son? Where it says we just read Proverbs 7. Yeah, how would you deliver that to your son? That message that's within Proverbs verse 7.
Shalom leadership. I would have to sit him down and walk him through detailed like instruction. Give him examples.
Give me a play-by-play, like he's literally there. How would you deliver it to him? Because why I'm asking that, a lot of times we read this Bible and we don't have the sense of making it plain and real to those young men, so that when they do venture out, they can connect the dots immediately and see danger coming. Because we can't read it like this to them and expect them to figure it out. So how would you deliver that?
So I would have to deliver it through experience, giving him my experience of how I dealt with it and what he needs to avoid, like the failures that I failed in how to avoid the failure that I made.
Now here's the thing. Two of y'all are from two different eras. And a lot of times what you have to do is ask that child what type of girls are in that school. What type of people are he or she interacting with. So now you can show them, look, this is the type of person the Bible is talking about. You have to make it plain. Proverbs 1 verse 1.
Proverbs chapter 1 verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding.
So perceive the words of understanding. Read.
To receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment and equity. To give subtlety to the simple, and the young man knowledge and discretion.
And that's the key part I wanted to pull out. To give the young men knowledge and discretion. Knowing how to navigate the dangers of that world out there, because the most dangerous part of their life is when they're not with you. That's when all you've taught them has to come into play.
Right, exactly right. They're going to begin to rehearse. I find myself now as a 30-something-year-old man, the conversations that my father had with me, and the way he smoothed that out, or he made it, he done it. You know, my vice was sports. I was real good at sports. So we would walk to the park. Me, my daddy, and my brother. He be talking to us. We walk back. He be talking to us. We riding back from a football game. He be talking to us, cause that, you know, he was living through me, and then while he was living through me, he was instilling in me how to be a man. So when I became of age, I would know how to do it somewhat, and I can fine tune it through my own life experiences. I can't never say that, oh, I ain't never heard that before, or my daddy never talked to me about that. No, my daddy did. He talked to me about my father did. I called him daddy when I was living, but my father taught me all these different situations, and I find myself as a 30-something-year-old man, I'm sitting here rehearsing all the stuff that my father talked to me about, and I like, damn, that's it. That's exactly what it says. Living, that's it, right? Yep. See it right there. Yeah. That's why, you know, now a lot of you brothers, you get discern, and along with the wisdom of God, you discern spirits, because I've been told about what type of person to look at, what type of person to avoid, the look in somebody's eye. Growing up in the hood, having life experience going on with somebody coaching you through that, then you'll be able to stand on your own too as a man and make wise decisions going forward when you take on a wife, when you become a father. And you don't have to learn on the fly. You learning on the fly how to be a father is a detriment to these boys over here. Play the next video so we can move on. But you got to instill, you got to talk to your sons, instill just wisdom in them, so when they grow up, like it says in train up a child, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. But if you don't talk to him, setting him up for failure, I'm telling you.
Key point, talk to him.
Yep.
Talk to him, y'all. Catch him while they ain't watching a little thing. Catch him. That's a perfect time to talk to him.
Yeah.
Tell you.
I want y'all to see something. Give me 1 Samuel chapter 20.
Hold on. Let me pull this video first. Because we got a lot of them. Now, this is Terry Crews. Now, he's talking to a bunch of women, but he's talking about fatherhood. I want you to listen to him and then listen to these ratchet women. This is why it's so important for y'all to be fathers, not daddies and deadbeats. Let it play.
Views on fatherhood.
Turn it up.
Dan, you have some strong views on fatherhood.
Yes, I do.
Please take the
Turn it up.
I posted some things on social media, and people got angry at me. And what I said was that there are some things that only a father can give you. Okay? Now, people are, wait, my mama gave me all that. I said, hold up. And this is what I believe. I believe this from my heart. You know, we care more about organic food than we do organic people. There are things that you need from your father. Your father starts out, he gives you your name. He gives you, listen.
Like in Lion King?
Like in Lion King. If you ever watch Lion King, it happens. He gives you your name. He tells you.
making fun of fatherhood. You run it back some.
That is the point. And the second thing he gives you is your inheritance. He gives you your name. He tells you.
Listen to him.
He tells you who you are.
Pause it.
That is the
Your father tells you who you are. That's why some of y'all float through life aimlessly with no purpose, because your father never instilled in you who you are. I'm just using my own life experiences, right? Coming out of high school, I went to University of Kentucky to play football. I had never left out of the state of Kentucky besides going on football trips, right? Father told me, you can make it anywhere in the world. And he used different words, because he's from Louisville. He's a Louisville man, but he used the other word, N-I-G-G. He's like, a Louisville man, Louisville nigga can make it anywhere in the world. That's what he told me. Because I have never left home before. I had always been up under my daddy's roof, my father's roof, with my mother, right? And that's who I know. He said, you can make it anywhere in the world. You ain't got to worry about it. And that little thing right there, because he knew in my mind, I'm thinking about transferring, right? I don't want to go nowhere, but he said, you can make it anywhere in this world. That's all I needed to hear to know, okay, let me get up and leave the nest. But if I never had my father telling me that, talking to me, guess what I'd have did? I'd have stayed right there and never went off 6, 7, 8 hours away, stood on my own 2 feet, learned how to take care of myself. But it was just that one conversation, talking to my father, telling me who I am, and just let me know you stronger than you think you are. You can make it. But some of y'all don't talk to your sons. Again, you ain't told y'all son they purpose in their life. Some of you just learning your purpose in your life. It's called to raise up the 12 tribes. You know it now. Okay, so are you going to tell your son they purpose, or they're going to have to float through life aimlessly wondering who they are? Why am I here? What's the reason? All right. Let that play.
The point, and the second thing he gives you is your inheritance. Now, that doesn't mean money. You inherit his story. You understand what I'm saying? When you have an inheritance, it's more than that. It's your father's story. Whatever your father was, whatever belongs to you. The third thing that your father gives you is your security. And what I mean, and I'm not talking about just, protection, all things, which that it does include. I'm talking about your confidence. Because when your father tells you you can do something, you believe you can do it. That's the truth.
I'm a single mother.
Okay, talk to me.
Pause
I'm
it.
a single mother, and I can...
Now, this is when the women, they single mamas, whatever. You ain't ready to tell them they not doing a good job with their son, whatever. But Terry Crews let you know, they don't understand that they can raise a son, but they can never teach a man how to be a man. That's what he's trying to get across. And your wife, none of them can teach these young men how to be a man, how to stand up in the face of adversity and be brave and not flinch when fear comes. That's going to take you doing it. That's going to take you not neglecting your job of being a father, just not letting the worries of the world weigh you down to where you just come home every day because you're tired from work, and the only time that you interact with your son is here on the Sabbath and after the Sabbath. But all week you really neglecting him. You don't go nowhere with him. You don't say nothing to him. You can't do that. You got to build your son up. Go ahead, officers. I see you, Greg. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead. Bring that scripture out real quick.
Yeah, read 1 Samuel chapter 20. What Cap is saying. Look what King Saul used to do. He had a routine. He occasionally seen his son. He didn't just go inside the house, go into the palace, went into his room. He always had an opportunity to speak with his children. And not only that, but when it came time for it, it was always men around him. Watch this. Read 1 Samuel chapter 20. Read verse 18, then jump down to 24.
1 Samuel chapter 20 and verse 18. Then Jonathan said to David, tomorrow is the new moon, and thou shalt be missed, because thy seat will be empty.
So pay attention to this. It's Jonathan and David were like brothers. So he's letting them know, look, tomorrow's the new moon. You know how we usually get down. We're around one another. Now watch this. Jump to verse 24.
Verse 24. So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, The king sat him down to eat meat.
So he sat down during the new moon to eat meat. Now watch this. Continue reading.
And the king sat upon his seat, as at other times.
As at this. So this is a routine that he usually do. Watch this. Read.
Even upon a seat by the wall. And Jonathan arose.
So who was sitting near his father? Who? His son. His son was eating right next to him. Now watch. Watch this. Continue reading.
And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side.
So who else was by Abner? I mean, who also was next by Saul? Abner. This was the chief captain of his army. So he had other men around him. So his son wasn't around with the women. His son was along with the other men.
So here's my question. How many of y'all eat with your sons? You sit down at the table and you eat.
Watch this, Cap. Watch this. Continue reading.
And Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty.
Read.
Nevertheless, Saul spake not anything that day.
Watch this. Read.
For he thought something had befallen him. He is not clean. Surely he is not clean.
Read.
And it came to pass on the morrow.
On the what?
On the morrow.
The next day. Read.
Which was the second day of the month, that David's place was empty. And Saul said unto Jonathan his son, Wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to meet, neither yesterday nor today? And Jonathan answered Saul.
Stop right there. So who do it on a day-to-day basis? Every day you eat with your son. You see, it wasn't just the new moon. It was the day after the new moon as well that he ate with his son. So it's on a day-to-day basis. This ain't something, he got in trouble. Let me talk to him right now. And then I won't talk to him again till when he get in trouble again. Nah, you have to constantly instill what you're supposed to train your child in, so that way when he grows up, he don't depart from it.
Right.
And what Cap was saying, remember, he used to go play basketball every day with his dad, to the point where his dad was constantly drilling him in his head. This is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to be. This is how I want to see you in life. To the point where it was driven in his head to where that became his drive. You have to do that same thing to your children.
And that's heavy, because I'm telling you, not too long ago, before we bought our dining room table, my kids was like, let's eat at the table. Let's eat at the table. Usually I'll just go and eat in my room. But that day I was like, you know what? We got a brand new table. All praises. Shout out to Officer Ephraim. We got a dining room table. We all sat down and we ate. So I'm going around the table. How was your day? How was your day? And everybody was shocked, like, wow, he's finally, we doing it. Because they see it on TV. So finally, afterwards, dinner was over, everybody was done, everybody going to their room. My wife come up and tell me, listen, what we did right there, that was heavy, because they came up and they said, hey, Daddy asked us questions about our day. You should see the light in their eyes.
Right.
It made a difference in their life. So that's very heavy what officers bringing
Eating
out.
together.
Right, eating together. Simple things.
Hey, real quick, who here got sons? Raise your hand. I'm gonna call on somebody real quick. Sons in the truth. In the truth. Ezra's. Raise your hand. Stand up. Take the mic.
Did you just get here, Ezra?
Yeah,
okay.
he's
Glad you're here.
Yes, he's got here. Do your son know his purpose?
I talked to him about it.
That's not what I asked you. Do your son know his purpose?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody else. Give me somebody else. Brothers, don't nobody raise their hand now.
Hey, give it to Matthias. Give it to Matthias.
Hey, real quick, Cap. Like, brothers, you got this is you got to be honest.
Yeah, just
man.
be honest.
Hey,
You gotta
this is
be
why
honest.
the Lord
I'm telling you.
did what
Gotta
he
be
did.
honest.
Ain't no women right here.
Right.
Cause why I'm saying that, because we know the answer.
Yeah, we know the answer. That's what I'm saying. Are you sure?
Be honest.
Because I'm gonna tell you, a lot of y'all sons have already revealed what type of fathers y'all are at the house.
And it's just
father,
not
daddy, or dead.
not just that. You fathers that's just married it as well. Y'all coming into these marriages with children already established. You too have a big responsibility. That's why we bringing this out as well. You brothers that just married these sisters that already have children as well. Hey, listen, you got a big job to do. So don't try to exclude yourself from this topic.
Right. You are definitely a part of this topic. You got something to say
Go
now?
ahead, Matthias.
Go ahead.
Hold on. No, hold on. No, we ain't got time. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. Do your sons know their purpose? Know
Yes,
his
sir.
purpose? Okay. What is your son's purpose?
To be a prophet. To read the
Go. All right.
Oh,
Next.
we ain't got time for all of them.
All right, one more. All right, the reason why I'm asking is
That's
because
very generic.
right. That let me know you never told him his purpose.
Nope. You made that up for him.
Somebody else. Just give anybody with a child a mic with a son.
In the
They
truth.
just came on to. In the truth. Nobody
In
would
the
raise their
truth.
hand
In
now.
the truth.
Nobody would raise their hand now.
No. Solomon back there. Solomon. Yeah, his son been around for a while.
Do your son know his purpose, Solomon?
Yes, sir.
What is your son's purpose?
Well, first I teach my son, how to be a man and everything, but I also teach him that he's an Israelite man, and also he needs to conduct himself according to the law. That way, when he grows up, he'll be able to teach it to others, to other people, who we are, and as Israelite man.
All right. I'm gonna tell y'all something. All right, that's done. Get done. I'm gonna tell y'all something. And excuse but I'm gonna tell y'all a bunch of damn liars, man. That's bull crap. You ain't never told your son his purpose. I could tell, man. Y'all. I'm gonna tell you, if y'all don't do it, who gonna do it? Who gonna do it? Oh, you know that they gonna turn on damn Oprah show and Oprah gonna do it for him. Or Maury, or Dr. Phil, or Jerry Springer. If we don't let them know why they was put on this earth, who gonna do it? Nobody else gonna do it.
And I'm telling y'all, and the reason why we know is y'all don't know nothing about y'all sons. That's why in this prophet boot camp, they tell us you don't know nothing about them. You think you do, but you don't. Go back to the video.
Because when your father tells you you can do something, you believe you can do it. That's the truth.
I'm a single mother.
Okay, talk to me.
I'm a single mother, and I can guarantee you I can give Evan every one of those things also.
I think that what Terry is talking about is when a man is in there and he's doing it the right way, when you got a mother and a father, because of course when you're talking about single motherhood, we have to do that. But when you're talking about a man and the family, what I appreciate about a father, because I think you do need a father and a mother, and I think there are things that a father can do that a mother can't. Like fathers are able to see, the tears don't bother a man as much. Like there's a way, my friend Bone Hampton, who is the son, he's raising him beautifully, and I have my son. That boy will cry, and Bone will say, "Get up, wipe it up, you can do it." Me with Jeffrey, he starts crying. I'm like, what's going on, baby? From mothers. I'm just saying that.
Hey, real quick, stop right there. Listen, you see that right there? A lot of times, the very woman in your house is the problem. The very woman that you sleep next to, she is the problem.
A lot of y'all can't be sons to your father to your sons because your wife get in the way, and you let her.
Now, if you notice in the clip, they said confidence. That's what the father brings to the son. How to be confident, how to articulate themselves. A lot of stuff that these young men need, only you as the father can provide it.
Exactly right. It's only so much we can do up here to instill confidence.
For one day out of the week.
It's not the same when Captain Zakar come up on your son and bring him in, give him a hug, rub him on the head. I'm just Captain Zakar they see once a week. You daddy that brought him into that gave him his name. It's different when it comes from you. And if you don't never do it but once in a blue moon, you only do it once in a blue moon, it don't do nothing for
Who
you.
here kisses their son? Tell them they love him. Every day. You see, you only got like 6 hands.
Hey,
a lot of hands went back down.
Let me tell you, I gotta use my own life. I'm telling you, I'm 35 now, and I don't talk. I'm a grown man now, so I don't talk to my father every day. You know, he done taught me what I need to, and I gotta live my life and be my own man. He knows what I do, and every blue moon I talk to him, I'm proud of you, son. My daddy don't know nothing about the truth. All he knows is that I'm over a congregation of people, and I'm leading them to the way of God. I explained that to him once. I'm proud of you, son. And I'm 30-something years old. Get on the phone with my daddy. Every time you get off the phone, guess what my father tell me every time I get off the phone with him? I'm 35 years old, and that still make me feel good.
Same here.
And some of you got kids, you don't tell them that, but every blue moon. And they teenagers, adolescents, and they don't even know if you love them or not.
I think it's never cap.
Obadiah real quick, then we're going back to the video. I got to move on.
Okay, I have a question.
Hey, pull up the next video of redefining the role.
I grew up in a foster home.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't no father figure around. It was about 10 of us in our house, all males. And let me tell you something. We did what we had to do to survive, because what our social worker did was dropped us off there and just left us there.
Mm-hmm.
With our foster grandmother. And God bless her heart, she was 65 years old. And she did her best to take care of all those kids in the house. But I'm going to tell you, half the time we didn't listen to nothing she said. We took care of her.
Yeah.
But it wasn't no man around to tell
It's
us,
different.
hey man, exactly. It wasn't nobody telling us, don't do this, don't do that, don't commit murder, don't go robbing people. Man.
It means it hit different when it comes from a man.
Exactly. These guys used to go out, commit murders, come back to the house with the money and say, look, man, I just killed this dude and I got all this merchandise. So one thing where we dropping the ball at as men, we don't go into these foster homes and try to reach these kids. That's what we need to do.
That's a good point. Let's watch this video real quick cause Bishop's on. We great tune in. Let's watch this.
First, let's clear up the role of what is a father. I'll begin with you, Dr. Perry.
Well, the role of a father is to establish structure. Dad's established structure. You know, earlier today, my son was trying to work my wife into getting him some soda. And
how old are your children?
7 and 10.
Oh, that's
and
the working at age.
And so Dad had to organize some structure over the phone.
Yeah.
That he needs to apologize to his mother for his conduct and thank her for giving him water.
So dads are there for structure.
No doubt.
Okay. Your definition.
So, you know, I really believe there is a male energy in life that is part of being a whole. And I just find that kids need this person whose first tendency is to lift them up off their feet, to roll around the floor with them, to throw them high enough so the mother is looking at you like, don't you throw my baby, right? What is wrong with you, right? But that sense of, I think the yin and the yang of human beings helps make us whole people, and we are constantly reaching out for that other part of ourselves that's missing. And you can actually feel that energy, in my opinion. And I think that's part of a father's role. His role is to be this kind, loving disciplinarian at the same time who is saying to his children and his wife, I am here to protect you and I will give my life for you. But there comes with some demands, right? And those demands are that you're going to have to be a good person. Right, and that's when you put people in check because they accept it because they know you're prepared to go all the way.
Now, one of the things I've heard you say is that we're at ground zero at this epidemic, and I know everybody in this room, and I know many of you who are tweeting with us right now. You saw our first class, right? Everybody see it on fatherless sons. Did you realize that it is as widespread an epidemic as it is? Did you realize that? Yeah. Okay. Why are we at ground zero?
This is Oprah. This is something that is a relatively new and dynamic phenomenon. This was only in a small portion of our society, but now it is all over, all income groups, all racial groups. The number of children growing up without their dads in America right now is
But it's
staggering.
not just that, though. It's not the person who isn't in the house. It's the person who's in the house and incapable of engaging in a meaningful
that's why I love
life.
what you said.
Because the problem is, so much of the father role that we just talked about is what you expected dad to do. The low-tone voice of a man can make even a puppy stand still.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we have yet to find a way to crack the code of being able to get comfortable enough in ourselves as men to also be tender with our child. So many of the men in our audience and beyond don't have the emotional capacity to communicate their emotions.
So you're not fatherless just if your father's
No, no, no,
gone.
no.
Right.
It's a different kind of fatherless when your father is at home and not emotionally
You could
available.
send your kids to boarding school, not physically be around them, and still make them feel like you're there every day. You could have a child sleeping in the same bed next to you because your place is so small, and they could feel like they don't know who you are.
I think that I would add the father who's absent, not there at all, the father who's there.
So we gotta we gotta
okay.
we gotta
Man.
it's a part 2. We gotta continue.
We
this.
gotta do a part 2, y'all.
We'll
Stay
do this
tuned.
next week. But
Stay
but
tuned.
that's why I said a father is someone. I'm gonna read it again before we close out with today's class. What a father is. Fathers build mentally strong and confident boys by guiding, talking to, and leading them through their toughest years of life until they become men that are able to handle those tough situations on their own while being affectionate enough to show them what love is supposed to look like. That's a father. Daddies are only present when there is a problem and occasionally show attributes of a father, but not consistently enough to make anyone believe that he is one. They also provide the necessities of life, but not much more to their sons. They are just there. So if the life lasts, we get to do this second part next Sabbath. Examine yourself. Are you in the father category? Or are you just a daddy that's in the house and you just there like he talked about? You emotionally detached from the house.
Hey, hold on real quick. And I hope you brothers, if this is cutting you, you need to examine yourself. Do better. This is a time for you to do better. Step your game up. Because right now you are supposed to be an example. All right, not only to the non-believers, but to those that you raising up in your house now. So do better, fathers.
It's so hard to serve God. And why when I say that I'm a Jew, it sound odd. For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sound wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.